now 7:39 on this Monday morning, and now that everything is scratched off your shopping list, there's another list that you should be checking as we head into the new year. This list will enable you to save some money rather than require you to spend it. We're getting help from financial expert Jennifer Streaks this morning to talk about making this end of the year tax to-do list. Doesn't sound all that like we really want to run out there and work on this as much as we're running out to do some shopping.
Exactly, but you have to at this time of the year. It's very important. And this is the best time to take advantage of it. Now that you've gotten through your holiday list, you can start checking off the list for your taxes so that you make an impact on your tax return in 2012.
I try to keep a folder handy year-round to just, put receipts in or do things like that. And man, these years just go by faster and faster. It seems like already now we're in the last week. Exactly. But the good news is we still have about a week to get things in order, and we can really make some changes in the last minute. Let's run through a couple of the ideas that you had that'll help us save some money. And one of the things that you're talking about is it comes to the mortgage.
Make that January mortgage payment in December as opposed to waiting, because you actually get to deduct that interest when you make the payment. So if it's credited by your lender in December, you get the credit for it in 2011, which means you can deduct it on your 2012 taxes.
So you can get actually that extra month's payment
that
you can deduct, which will help a lot when you get to next year's return. Also, charity's always looking for help year-round, but if you haven't made that donation yet,
now is the time to do it. These 5 days, you can actually make pivotal changes in terms of charitable donations. You can make a big chunk all at one time and deduct that from your 2012 taxes. So this is a great time to get on those last-minute donations right now.
Is there a limit as to what you can deduct when it comes to charitable donations?
As long as it's cash, or if there's any sort of household good or item that you can deduct, no, there isn't any particular limit. But make sure that you keep the receipts, especially if you make a cash donation over $250.
Okay, great advice there. How about the old job search? Even if you're not searching now, maybe you were earlier this year.
A lot of people have been searching for jobs, and I've been getting a lot of questions on that. You can deduct travel expenses if you're traveling for interviews, also continuing education expenses, even the receipts that you get from Kinko's for the copies that you make there can be deducted. They all go towards job hunting expenses.
And you don't necessarily have to have got a new job this year. It's just the search process, right?
It's
that's tax
deductible.
deductible.
Process. Even if you haven't been successful, it is the job search process that you can deduct.
All right, so good news there for folks. Even if it goes back to last January, you can still make that as a deduction.
Correct.
IRA contributions. Now, do we have to do this by the end of the year, or can we carry this over into next year?
You can actually wait until April 15th. That's really last minute, but think about it. Think about how much you want to actually put into your IRA, and you can deduct that on your taxes all the way up until April.
Okay, so that we don't necessarily have to do this week. If we just blew our budget on Christmas spending, we can carry that over into next year. And it doesn't make a difference as far as deductions or anything like that, whether we do it now or
as long as it's
before
by
April 15th.
Right, and if you have blown that budget on holiday spending, which I hope you haven't,
right,
this is a good time to start budgeting for that, at least thinking about it.
Unfortunately, a lot of people probably have, but that's why we have you here, Jennifer. Medical expenses, what's the limit, and what do we need to worry about this? Is this a year-to-year, January 1st to December 31st?
Right, and it's 7.5% of your salary. If it comes to medical expenses, then you can deduct that on your income tax.
Okay, if we used 7.5% of our salary on medical expenses.
Medical expenses, and before the end of the year. So if you have a procedure that's coming up, go ahead and schedule it for the end of the year before December 31st.
If you're close on that,
if you're close on it,
to making that, so you can hit that threshold and save even more money. All right, also energy and tax dollars. What are we saving here?
Yes, we actually have an energy credit that's expiring at the end of 2011. It's any energy saving or any energy efficiency upgrades that you're making to your home, whether it's windows or a new boiler or insulation. As long as the work is completed by the end of 2011, you can then take that credit. But it is a lifetime credit. So if you've already taken it one time, you can't do it again.
And by expiring, do you mean expiring December 31st for this year or for good?
For good. For good, and then that's going to be it. They gave us a little bit of time on this. I want to say it was at least 3 to 5 years to really get your home up to code in terms of energy efficient appliances, windows, roofing, all of that. So that's it, people.
All right, if we want to get a jump on it next year's financial season, what's some advice? If we want to, a lot of people want to start fresh the first of the year, January 1st, either say I'm going to budget better this year, or I'm just going to, do a better job managing my money. What's the best advice?
I would definitely say budgeting and saving this year. As we know, the economy is still working itself out. So having that emergency fund is the best thing. It's the best gift you can give yourself. Now that you're done with the commercial buying and spending, give yourself a gift and save a nice nest egg in case something happens. Also budgeting, planning for expenses, and planning for your taxes.
It's great advice, Jennifer Streaks. Thanks for joining us this morning, and happy 2012.
You too.
Thanks, Jennifer.